Welcome back to NTD Good Morning. Many people can't seem to make their New Year's resolutions last. Don't worry, we're still in January, so there's time. But what if the problem was not a lack of discipline, but rather all about managing your energy? Now, I've been pondering this very point recently, and I bet some of you out there have too. So we're very lucky to be joined in studio today by a guest who's going to help us with that.
That's right. Functional nutritionist and certified health coach Danielle Pashko, who has more than 2 decades working alongside top physicians, developing nutritional programs, and helping people improve their health through detoxification, functional nutrition, and mind-body practices.
Good to have you with us this morning. Thanks for coming in so early.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm thrilled.
Yeah. And I really am looking forward to getting into this. Let's start with what people can do right up front to overcome this and get good energy to start with, and maybe some of the roadblocks along the way.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have these really lofty goals that they want to do, but they don't have the energetic capacity. It's not a lack of willpower. So they really need to start building that up. And there are things that you can do. And just for example, a simple thing in the morning, like going outside first thing in the morning, getting sunlight in your eyes. Now, I happen to have a dog, so for me, that's very easy to do. But just doing that starts to reset your circadian rhythms. It helps to also improve your basal metabolic rate. So you're starting to feel better immediately. Other things you can do, gentle stretching, listening to music to get you in a better state, really good hydration. I mean, there's definitely a lot of practices that you just really need to get that energy going.
Yeah.
And Danielle, it seems like there's this dichotomy, right? You're trying to boost your energy, but then you're also trying to be calm and not overreact in moments. So how do you address those two extremes?
Well, we're hearing a lot now about the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, were terms that we just weren't really familiar with. And really most of us, unfortunately, because of the stress of the world, we're in that sympathetic state, the fight or flight. And we want to get more into the parasympathetic, which is the more relaxation mode. So while workouts and heavy workouts are good for you, they're good cardiovascularly, it also is good to do workouts that really help to build up your life force and bring you back into that parasympathetic mode. And just because something is a little softer does not mean that it doesn't strengthen you. And once you start to build up your reserves through practices like Tai Chi and Qigong, which personally I feel very connected to, those give you the energy to be able to have better brain capacity, to be more productive, to make more mindful decisions with your eating, to be able to just have that energy that doesn't fall flat. Whereas if you say, I'm going to work out every day for an hour, I'm going to do this diet, it's very hard to maintain if your energy is not grounded and you're not in that right mindset, right?
I love that. And for people who may be more sensitive, they can feel it when they're getting the benefits initially. But for many of us, even with as with a gym workout, you may not tell initially whether it's having an impact on you, which makes it a bit harder to continue. How long does it take to see results with something gentle like this?
Sometimes even just doing one session, you can walk out of a practice and really just feel more grounded. And that's something that we really want to do, to feel in our bodies. Many people, they're disconnected from their bodies, right? So using movement and breath and even sound, this also activates the vagus nerve, which helps to put us in this parasympathetic response. So these are really good practices to do to build up our energy reserve.
And Danielle, one of your books talks about mistakes nutritionally that even healthy people make, which can make a very big difference. Can you explore some of those?
Well, yeah, I think people look at food in terms of macros or calories, carbohydrates, fat. Will this make me gain weight? Will this make me skinny? But they're not really looking at food or herbs even in terms of the energetic imprint. Like, how will this make me feel? Will I feel more alert after I have this? Will I have more energy? Will I feel lighter? How's my brain going to feel? Will I be clear? It's not just about having nutrition for a certain aesthetic. It's really about what do we feel like? And the same thing goes for herbs. You know, a lot of people take supplements because they're in trend. And you want to, in my opinion, I'm very much about energy. So I like things that are cultivated in nature, whether it's, well, doing these ancient practices like Tai Chi and Qigong, or even having foods that have a higher vibration that are from nature, from farmers markets, health food stores, fresh. Even herbs really help to balance you. In particular, Ayurvedic herbs I tend to love, things like ashwagandha, which is really good for the nervous system. It really helps to regulate us. And there's even a new technology right now called quantum Ayurveda. It's pioneered by a company called Green Space Herbs. And Ayurvedic herbs like ashwagandha, they are actually energetically tuned to be more bioavailable to our bodies. So we want that energetic imprint in everything that we do, because that's going to raise our vibration and then give us that motivation to do things that maybe we just didn't have the focus to do. Not lack of willpower, it's that lack of energy. So that's what we're trying to help people to get.
And what I'm seeing here is, rather than a different goal, and what you're having is instead of having roadblocks that you need to overcome along the way to get to the goal, it's a whole other route almost. Like the softer way is designed. Roadblocks are designed out of it. Is that how you would see it?
Yes. So people think, let's say someone is dealing with a health issue where they don't have a lot of physical strength or an injury, and they say, if I can't do this really wild workout, then I'm just not going to do anything. I went through a period of myself with very bad chronic illness. I had very bad Lyme disease and very bad long COVID. I could not do anything. Vertigo, major exhaustion. So my only choice was to do a practice which I considered to be for my grandparents, for example, not for me, but I had no choice but to start slow. I started with Tai Chi, Qigong. I drastically changed my diet. I started working a lot more with these herbs. And what I noticed is I became so strong that now I'm a student of Wing Chun Kung Fu, Bruce Lee's lineage.
Oh my.
And I've been doing it for several years. Thank God. Wow. I was from almost bedbound to now having this just micro practices. I said, okay, I can't go to the gym, I can't go to Barry's, I can't go to SoulCycle, I can't do all of this. What can I do? So this is really accessible, and I want to let people know there is hope, and they can start slow, but they can really build their strength this way. So don't give up on yourself. Really start with these practices, and you may see really tremendous shifts. And I started seeing things very quickly, so that can happen.
Now, you're describing almost a passive way to get to strength and achieve goals, and that seems counterintuitive to setting goals and achieving goals. So how do you put those two together?
Well, it's not totally passive. There's a lot of intention that goes into these practices. Mind, breathing, focused movement. It does take discipline. So it's not like we're not putting any work. It's really not passive. It's just so intentional, but without force. So that's really the way I like to work with things. And even with many women of a certain age where they've experienced a lot of burnout, they feel like this more no pain, no gain. Let's cold plunge. Let's spend 2 hours working out. Let's fast all day, have a giant coffee. And that, no. That's not what you want to do. You really want to nurture yourself and be kind to yourself. So doing these practices, really focusing on the nutrition, focusing on energy, herbs that can nourish you, that is really more sustainable, and it's going to make you age much better, look younger, your eyes will start to brighten. My vision actually improved. I never expect that one.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Does this advice extend to what kinds of goals to choose?
It can extend to any kind of goal, whether it's a health goal where you want to have better cardiovascular health, more energy, more endurance, or just even brain capacity. So many of us experience brain fog. That's a common thing I hear all the time, or fatigue. So if that's really a goal, you want to be more productive, to do these things is really going to give you that clarity where you're grounded and focused, and people around that feel that with you. That is an energetic thing. When you are in your body, people start to take you more seriously because you seem rooted. And I think that's something we all really can work on, and working on that stress, because it's a stressful world. So anything we can do to really bring down that stress, I think is a win.
I just felt my posture improve.
Right?
As you were saying, I was like, I am in my body.
Well, yes.
Danielle, I think we're both really inspired. Where can our audience find more about your work and your advice?
Sure. So they can visit my website, which is soulhacker.com. I talk about nutrition. I have some free videos there where I show things like body tapping, qigong, also quantum Ayurveda, which I spoke about, which is the tuning of the herbs. And you can also visit greenspaceherbs.com as well, just if you want to learn more about these ancient Ayurvedic practices.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time
Thank you so much
today
for having me.
and your insights.
Danielle Pashko, what a great conversation. Thank you.